And then she went back to the UK, and then she called me and she was like, I'm pregnant. Why don't you come here?
Do you want to sit in?
Oh, yeah. Why don't you pick it up?
Here you go.
Throw it.
This is Isla. Good strong left hand.
Good job, yay! Yeah!
Oh, she's right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to go through a bit of your story, yourself, Sam Siddiqui, and wife Sonia and daughter Isla. 3 months after falling pregnant, she decides to move out to meet you here in Singapore. What did you know beforehand of giving birth here and what it was like in Singapore versus the UK?
Nothing, mate.
From a dad's point of view, obviously.
Even like, what do I even know about birth in general?
Yeah.
Nothing at all. So like, you're also doing it in a foreign country, and literally, I think we made the decision just based on that I want to be around for the pregnancy, and I definitely want to be there for the birth, right? Because if we decided to go in the UK and have Isla, I would have had to so pre-planned my time going back to the UK that you just don't know if you're going to hit it or not.
Yep.
Right? So we knew absolutely nothing, and that was it was really difficult. Yeah, a lot of it was just touch and go, find out yourself, find out how the system is in Singapore. That was it was just trial and error. To be fair,
of course. And then you decide to go for an elective C-section? Is that right?
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
I don't know whether or not the girls go into that decision-making process, but we and to be fair, it's a financial one.
Okay.
More than anything.
See, that confused me. I thought the elective C-section would have been more expensive.
Oh no, mate. So this is what happened. We were in a one of those prenatal classes, and they were talking about the pain relief that they give you every hour. What you got? You got a stick?
We're talking about you now.
They're talking about you coming out of mama's belly. She doesn't care. We're in one of those prenatal classes, and they're talking about the price and the cost of the pain relief on the hour, right? And it was something ridiculous. I can't remember the numbers. I wish I had the numbers like to hand, but
I'm sure Sonia will.
When I did the calculation of labour might be this long times pain relief, I was like, wow. And I'd already had the prelim numbers for the plan cesarean.
Yeah.
So I put on my dropping seeds hat into Sonia. I'm like, hey, so why don't we try? And to be fair, throughout the pregnancy, Sonia was like, I'm going to go for labour, I'm going to go for everything, I'm going to push this one out. And I was like, yeah, obviously, 100% whatever you want to do. When I saw those numbers, I was like, we could potentially get this done on the cheap. And then we went for an examination.
You mean you could get this done with Isla's future in mind?
True.
That's
absolutely what happened. What cost saving can I make here? Because you've got to make a lot when you've got a kid, right? But you don't want it to run up into so much money that, especially when you're uninsured,
it becomes crippling.
And like some of the figures, I remember being super stressed because, like, at the end of the day, like you'd have to pay this, right? And in the UK, we are blessed with an NHS. As much stick as people give them, it's still a free service that the government give out, and I think people take that for granted, because here when you see the bill on the minor things that they put on the bill,
of course,
it's just crazy. But I get it, it's a business, but you just want to be fully prepared, right? So I saw the figures, did some calculation. You can tell I work in finance, because I was like, okay, we can cost it. So I started saying to Sonia, like, slowly, why don't we think of a planned C-section because of the money and stuff. But I remember Sonia going for an examination, actually, and they'll go on to it, but I remember the amount of pain that she was in.
Wow. Okay.
And just thinking, actually, are you sure you want to go for a labour?
Second thought.
And so that dropped it, and then we thought, right, okay, yeah, let's go for a planned C-section. And it was crazy.
So talk me through the C-section then. So, which hospital were you at?
We went to NUH. Our gynae was somebody called Dr. Citra. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, felt like she basically, I don't know whether or not she could tell that we were first-time parents, had no family around us.
I'm sure they can tell.
Had no family around us. Obviously panicky parents as you are when you're first time. But she was just so open and welcoming and like putting us at ease and felt like she could have all the time in the world for us if we wanted it to.
Yeah.
Obviously, I felt the sense. We'd been to other gynaes before where you'd go in, you're in there for 5 minutes, and you wait so long for these appointments at NUH because it's not private, right?
Yeah.
It's a government hospital. You're in there for 5 minutes, and you come back out, and you're like, you don't feel like you're getting. That, and then also you've got so many questions.
You're waiting for that relief. Right? You're waiting for that.
Yeah. Like, what about this? Oh, yes, fine. You're like, really? But Dr. Citra was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Any questions or expanding upon things that we were worried about. We went to a couple of times for like emergency stuff. She was absolutely awesome. And then even like during the time to go for a cesarean, and even just seeing her in the operating room, all like masked up and stuff, and like with the glasses on, I was like, this is going to be all right.
You're in good hands.
This is absolutely going to be perfect.
That's awesome.
So she was really, really good. So we literally went in a week before. How many weeks pregnant, babe? 39?
38 weeks.
38 weeks, yeah. So went in, got a date, got a time, and that was it. We were... Oh, man.
No. Technical difficulties. So talk me through the cesarean. So is it like going to see the dentist? You have a time, you have a date?
It's like you've got a tooth that needs to be removed.
Yeah.
This is the date that we're going to come in and do it. So Sonia...
talk me through that feeling of knowing that it's Monday.
Tomorrow we're going to have the
6
baby.
p.m. We're going into surgery.
In some ways, I'm super, like, I'm a warrior, like big time warrior. So that actually put me at ease a lot, because my biggest fear was going through the labor and like getting her into a taxi and going to the hospital, and from East Coast to NUH is quite far, right? So for me, it kind of put me at ease a little bit, and nice. The night before, went out for a meal. My mum and my sisters were in town as well, actually. So, because they wanted to be there for the birth and stuff. So, went out for a nice meal the night before. And because Sonia had a latex allergy, we were the first ones in the slot because obviously they just packed them all in, right? Which was actually really good, because we were in and out so quickly.
So what time were you?
We had to wake up at like. I remember waking up really early. It must have been like 6 in the morning. 6 in the morning to head over to the hospital. And then at 7 or 8, I think they started doing the checks and booking you in. So we literally we go into this room, everyone is pregnant.
You're together at this time?
Yeah, we're together at this time. And we're in a room, and then you get registered and you show that you can afford to pay the bill in case it comes out,
the guarantee.
And we did actually have to put a deposit down. Yeah. We put a deposit down of 10K, I think, with NUH.
No, you just had to pay the full package.
No, the deposit for the birth.
Yeah, you had to pay the full package for a C-section.
Yeah.
And then they either refund you the difference.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Okay.
So they give you a planned C-section.
Right. So you pay over.
You pay it all,
and then anything on top you pay.
If something happens and we've got to do X, Y, Z, you'll pay extra for it. So I remember showing that I'd paid that a couple of days before, And then that was it. Then they call you into a room, and then you get ready for. Well, they prep Sonia for surgery.
Yep.
And that's just like taking off jewelry, taking off makeup, making sure that she's got the.
So
gown
she had makeup on at this time, did she?
She didn't actually. I was just saying, in case anyone's going in, take it off because it's you're not allowed to have that. I remember actually she had a wedding ring on.
Yep.
And her hand is so swollen.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we had to try and force that one off, but the nurses there did it. And it was a bit manic because there were so many pregnant women in this room. Wearing their overalls and stuff. And I remember we were just like, wow, when we come out of that room over there, we're gonna have her. We're gonna have the baby.
Yeah, wow, so the realization.
Crazy. Yeah. And then I remember taking a final selfie of just us two.
This is the last time we have a photo of just us two.
And then you watch Baby Shark. Oh, Baby Shark! Look at your hair.
Do you know how to sing it, Isla?
Have you got a clip for her hair?
She learned how to say shark for the first time.
Say shark? No.
Shark.
And then they took Sonia in. They took Sonia in to go and get her, obviously, get the injection put in and start numbing her down and stuff. And then that's where they ask all the dads to go into this room.
Okay.
Right? And I remember being in that room, and there was about 4 or 5 dads in there just waiting to be called to go into the surgery because they don't allow you in for the whole thing.
Are you guys sat in a circle? Are there rows of chairs?
No, some were just like very casual and on their phone.
Yeah.
I was there and I was absolutely crapping myself because obviously you want everything just to go smoothly.
Yeah.
Right. And the biggest concern was, I hope everything goes all right with Sonia. Hope the baby's okay. Hope everything was healthy. And this was taking quite a while.
And are you guys by yourself? Is there
no one was really talking apart from this one guy who he had kids before. He'd also had and he was having twins
this time round.
Yeah. So that's why they were doing the C-section. And he was very sweet, he was very much like, don't worry, everything's going to be absolutely fine, and like really putting me at ease. And he was the only one I really spoke to, but it was a bit weird being in a room with all these dads. And they must have played it so cool. Either they were panicking themselves, but I was a mess. Like,
sitting down, pacing up and down.
I remember like not pacing, but kind of just like, when are they going to call me? When are they going to call me? Because when they call me is when I know this is it. Like it's going on now, right? So that's taking quite a while.
You're ready to go.
Yeah, and then I remember the nurse calling me in and saying, "All right, we're going to go and get you changed now."
Yep.
And I was like, "Okay, cool." They gave me the clothes and stuff, the scrubs to put on.
Yep.
And then they take you to the room where Sonia was in. And there was a big window and then a little window where I could see Sonia just like lying down like this, right? On a bed. And that, I was like, wow. Like, when you're not used to being in an operating theatre, you look at things and you're like, oh my God. Like, this is crazy.
Was she out at this time?
No, she was awake. She was awake throughout the whole thing. Just a blanket was in front of her, right? Like a screen.
So I had a spinal block.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she couldn't move. She's like this, and I'm thinking, for me, actually, the whole pregnancy was like, as a guy, you want to do as much as you possibly can, but at this point, you realize you are completely helpless.
Out of your hands.
There's nothing you can do here, and it's out of your hands. So you've just got to try and be calm and collected. And I remember looking through that door, and they weren't allowing you in until the gynae came in to the room. So I was just watching that. And the guy who I met in that other room was in the operating theatre next to me. So we were both kind of like chatting together, and he was like, he could tell I was super nervous because I just wanted to get in there, right? Yeah. Then my gynae came, and honestly, that's when I felt that sense of like, okay, yeah, she's got everything under control. Because she saw me, she was like, oh, it's okay, look, don't worry about everything. Everything's going to be absolutely fine. And her just saying that, I was like, all right, okay, cool. Like, we're in good hands. She's awesome. We're going to go and deliver this baby. Then they take you into the room, and then you see her. And that was like, it was, for me, it was hard. And, because you can't do anything, right? There's a screen, she's lying down, and you're kind of like, this is it. This, like, within the space of 2 minutes, your child is coming out, right? And that's literally all you go in, and it's so quick how quickly they'll take that baby out.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. But it was taking a little bit of time, I remember. And like you're behind the screen, so you don't see anything, right? And you're like lying down. And Sonia was like, you could see that they were tugging, right? And this was like,
did it look abnormal?
Yeah, 100% looked totally abnormal. And then Sonia was like, "What's going on? Do you want to check?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll go. We'll go and check."
Had a pre-agreement
Diagnosis.
that if he saw anything gruesome, he wasn't.
Yeah,
to, like,
that was the agreement. Yeah,
Okay.
don't
So repeat again. The agreement was.
The agreement was, if I see anything, don't mention it to Sonia. Don't say anything. And to be fair, I wasn't going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So I stood up and I saw the gynae. She had a junior doctor with her as well. And I remember asking the gynae, "Is everything okay? What's going on?" And she looked at me, and I'll say it now because you probably know, but they literally had their hands in Sonia's stomach and they were stretching the skin apart. Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember at that time seeing that. And I always said to myself, don't make eye contact down there because you don't want to like, just keep looking at the gynae and don't look there because it's going to be really rough. It's going to be rough. So I remember looking at the gynae saying, "Is everything okay?" She casually was like, "Yeah, just give me, we'll be out soon." And I looked and I sat back down, and I don't know whether Sonia could have tell. I guess not because I had the face mask on, but I went totally like, "Oh my God, my wife is awesome," because the amount that you have to go through and seeing that just to get a baby out was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And
you found respect.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, like absolutely unreal. She's just lying there and they're doing this and it's crazy. You try not to look at it, but you look at it and you see it, and then you'll be like, okay, cool. Like, you're gonna go through it soon, right? And that newfound respect that you get, and you're like, wow, my wife is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
To go through that is unbelievable. Obviously, I'd seen Sonia go through the pregnancy and stuff like that anyway, but seeing that moment for me was amazing. And then obviously Isla was born.
Yeah.
And then, so there's just so many emotions that you go through. And I remember Isla coming out, and I had this is what I thought was
Did Dad first?
no, actually what they do is they took Isla out, and the gynae, I remember Citra saying, "Oh, have you got your phone ready? Because the baby's about to come out." And I'm like, this is like, you know, you're at a theme park, or yeah, we've got literal pictures of her out with the umbilical cord out. It was and like Citra's just holding her.
So that's the difference, isn't it? Because that's like a conveyor belt for them.
Yeah.
And
For them,
you, like,
it's
this
just
is our
yeah. Get your phone ready, and I was like, what? I got my phone ready, and I was like, oh my God, she's here. She came out, she was screaming, and like, it's nuts. Like I didn't even know how to explain that moment in itself. The first thing I did was, is she healthy?
Yeah.
Fingers, toes, everything.
And then
what they do is they take the baby out, they go and place them on like a weighing scale. Yep. And at this point, Sonia can't see anything, right? So I remember coming down, kissing you, and just saying, everything's okay. Baby looks okay. And then I walked over to the weighing scale where Isla was to go and see her properly.
Yeah.
And this is, again, the doctor said, don't walk that way because you're going to see everything. Walk the other way.
Right.
But to walk the other way is going to take some time. So I was like, no, I'll walk that way. It will be fine. As I walked, I don't know whether every man does this, but they say, don't look again. Don't look again, because it's going to scare you and you're going to feel really, really terrible again. But you can't help just go, holy wow. Right, you'll see it again. Then I went over to Isla and she was kind of like screaming, crying, amazing. You know, she had all this gunk all over it. And everyone's like, oh, it's so pretty and stuff. And you're like, it's not really. She's just got loads of blood and all this stuff over. She's super purple. But that feeling of she's healthy.
Yeah.
Thank God. Like, she's just healthy, everything's okay. And then I just kept checking with the nurse, like, she's all right, she's all right, she's all right. And they said, yeah, absolutely fine. Go to your wife for a little while and we'll bring the baby over. Yeah. So I went over. And at this point, obviously, because they got the baby out, they start literally closing up now. They wrapped Isla up, brought her over. And that was when I think we got really emotional, where we cried. Isla was there. We've even got pictures of like our first selfie, haven't we, with Isla. But all the staff in that room itself was so phenomenal. Like, just totally made you feel like, yeah, you're right. You know, it is a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
But they just make you feel like you're so at ease. I remember the anaesthetist, actually.
Oh, he was awesome.
Right? He was so nice. He was just so, like, very relaxed, very chill. Don't worry, everything's going to be okay. Because he's right behind you, and everything else is going on that side, right? So he's right behind you, and he's talking to you, and he's the only one that you're really seeing and talking to, and like he was just super cool about it. They bring Isla over, and then they just said to me, "Do you want to come with us now because we're going to take Isla back?" And I was like, "You're taking her away from Mum.
Yeah.
Like, surely she's got to be here." And they're like, "No, it's fine. We're gonna finish up with Sonia now, clear her up, and you come with us now." And that point, you're kind of like, oh man, like, your wife's going through so much, and you're just about to leave them to go to this baby. Yeah. Like, this baby's just come. I'm meant to be here with my wife, right? For me, anyway, that's how I felt.
So you're in this room.
Yeah. So we're in this room, and it's just like you've got the nurse who's weighed her. You're looking after her, and you know they did say to me, you know, it's only going to be 20 minutes.
Yep.
Whilst you're going to be there, but it ended up going to like an hour 20, and at this point, you know, you're panicking a little bit because, you know, for me it was in my head of like, is everything okay with Sonia? And you know, here in not just NUH but in general, they've got a case of over-promising and under-delivering. So I was like, you said 20 minutes, what's going on here? And you're with this baby, and you know, there's only so much you can do with the newborn anyway. So, you know, whilst that being with Isla and doing that skin to skin was also very amazing, it was also very worrying for me because I was worried that everything was, you know, you hear all these stories, right? And then, you know, you just want Sonia, or you just want your wife, just be okay, you know, because, and then she was crying quite a bit when we started passing the hour mark, and I was like, oh, she must need a feed, right? She must need a feed.
Yeah, it's a long
Where's
time.
Mum, right? Where's Mum? We need to go to her. And they were like, oh, we'll call the operating theatre. They called them and said, oh yeah, they're just finishing up, and things took a bit longer than they expected, and then, you know, it was crazy to wait that long. And then anyway, you know, thank God Sonia came out. She was in recovery. The anaesthetic started to wear off, and then they take you and baby to go and meet Mum, and that's when it was like a big relief, but then also this feeling of we're together now.
Yeah,
the three of us. Like,
you're a family.
We're a family, right? And they do skin to skin with Mum and the first feed, and try and get the latch on, which maybe the girls will go on to that, but then also make like that's another weird thing to see as like a dad.
You've never seen it before.
You've never seen it before, and you always see them in a very sexual manner, right?
Yeah.
And now you're seeing them as
that's something for future.
stuff.
There's some other things where it's
that's like
sexual.
you're like, huh? That's weird that you're child. But anyway,
there's nothing attractive about this anymore.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's out the window. But you see that, and it's just such a sense of awesomeness that you're all together. And we tried doing the feed. She had a little bit to eat, but then what they wanted to do was let Sonia fully recover.
Yep.
And we went. They took me and Isla up to the room that you're going to be in for the next couple of days as well. And at that point, I had to go and sign some documents and get the baggage and do general dad tasks.
Yeah.
I thought, I was like, right, okay, cool, now I'm a dad. This is the stuff I've got to do. So they took Isla into like a little nursery area whilst I went away and did all that stuff. And you're on your own, like you're doing all the paperwork and you're getting the bags. And you're still going through this moment of like, well, I'm a dad. My wife's still kind of recovering. This is crazy. This is awesome. And then I remember my mum and my sisters coming up to the room, and I was just like, let's get Sonia out. Let's get the baby. And you want everyone to be together because that's what you want to do. But like things take a little bit slower, so you just got to kind of like just remember that there are procedures that hospitals have in place. And for me anyway, I'm quite not paranoid. Yeah, I'm paranoid. I'm super paranoid and I want things done very, very quickly. And when you've got this sense of I'm paying for this, you think, why are things not happening? Whereas in the UK, you'd understand if there was a delay, right? You're like, I'm not paying for this, so it's okay. So like, maybe I was being the angry kind of expat that you hear, but
well within your rights.
Things were taking along, but then also, for them it is like a conveyor belt thing. So I think that was just the norm. That was just the norm for just waiting. But they then brought Sonia out and Isla out, and then my mum and my twin sisters were there, and that was it. That was literally it for the birthing part. That was one chapter kind of just done. But then there's so much more. That first night and the second night and speaking to family and there's so much more that you're gonna go through. That for me it was a sense of relief that we've gone through the hardest bit now, right? And I remember just taking pictures of her and just thanking like God that everything's healthy, everything's good, Mum's good, Isla's good. And like for me, I wanted to keep a level head throughout the whole thing. Right? I wanted I feel like I do show my emotions quite a lot, but during that period I was like, I can't now, because I want to make sure that Sonia, who we don't have any family out, Sonia didn't have any family out, I was pretty much her only person.
You got to hold it all together.
You got to try and hold it all together. So I remember just holding all these emotions in of relief, happiness, proudness of my wife, just a general sense of like, this is awesome as well.
Just pure elation.
And then also you've got to deal with so much coming up, and like you are very emotional, but I held a lot of that in, and I remember going to Starbucks the next day or the day after or at some point to go and get coffees, and I made friends with the guy who was serving us, right, over, because we were in that hospital so much that guy was kind of
on a first name basis.
Pretty much, and he was like, oh, is baby born? I was like, yeah, baby's born. He was like, oh, here's a free coffee. And I remember just breaking down. I just absolutely lost it. I cried and I cried and I cried. And I remember going back to the room with the coffees and breakfast, and Sonia's like, you right? And I was like, yeah, it's had a bit of a mental breakdown at Starbucks. So there's so much emotion, and you're going to see so much during that 2 days that it's just crazy, mate. It's absolutely crazy. And then you've got the first night in the hospital, you've got second night in the hospital, and this sense of just relief is unbelievable, because for me anyway, 9 months of just panicking, and now that Isla's out and she's 2 years old, I still
running amok,
but that panic doesn't stop, mate. It's every stage of her growing up. Is this normal? Is everything okay? I still check on her every night, see if she's breathing. It's stupid. It's stupid, doing the same. But like, I will still do that. I still have to know she's okay before going to sleep and stuff. So yeah, man, you've got it all to come.
Mate, on that note, thank you very much for sharing your story.
No worries.
Awesome. Hopefully that gives a few other dads a bit more insight into what to expect, what to do, how to keep control.
Yep.
And we look forward to the next story.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, buddy.